6 steps to escape poverty. 6 steps to escape poverty. 6 steps to escape poverty. That is our topic for today. Happy New Year. We are learning from Ruth, a book that you'll find in the Holy Bible. Ruth is a Moabite lady, and she's married to a Hebrew man, but the Hebrew man dies. Her mother-in-law, Naomi, moved from Israel to Moab to settle there because there was famine in Israel. But while she was in Israel, while she was in Moab, she lost two of her sons. So she lost two of her sons, and she had two daughter-in-laws. She had Ruth and she had Oprah. So she tells them that she's now going back home to Israel. She has heard that God has visited her people, and that now there is bread to eat, good food to eat. So she says, I cannot have some more children. I'm already old. And even if I was to get some more children so that you can marry them, would you wait all those years for the men to grow up to be men big enough to be your husbands? So she releases the two ladies, Oprah and Ruth. They love her so much. They hug her, kiss her, and cry and cry. Oprah is okay about being left behind, but Ruth refuses and clings to mother-in-law and tells Naomi, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to stay behind. I'm going with you because your people are going to be my people. Your God is going to be my God. What you eat is what I'm going to eat also. So Ruth and Naomi travel back to Israel. While they're there, Ruth begins to wonder how to make a living. What will they eat? So Naomi tells her about the custom in that land. The custom is that when they're harvesting the field, you can come back, you can follow from behind and glean what is left in the sheaves, so that you have food to eat, for you and your family. So Ruth picks a field. Turns out it is the field of Boaz, a very wealthy man who's also a kinsman of Naomi. So she starts to glean after them. While they're harvesting, she gleans after them. Boaz takes interest in her and says, who's that lady? And he's told that lady is Ruth, the Moabite lady who accompanied Naomi, whose husband has died. Boaz takes interest and tells his servants, please don't mess with her, don't touch her, don't harass her, leave her alone, and make sure that there's enough for her to glean over. So in the evening, when Ruth goes back to Naomi, Naomi is astonished at the amount of food that she has managed to gather, and she explains that she's been with Boaz in the field of Boaz. So Boaz invites her for lunch, and they take lunch together one day. Then Naomi tells Ruth, there's a custom in our country. Tonight, go and lie at his feet. When he wakes up and finds that you are lying at his feet and you've covered yourself with his skirt, he will make a declaration. He will declare you his wife. It is a risk you're taking, but it is worth it. So Ruth listens and obeys, and at night she crawls and at the feet of Boaz and sleeps. So while Boaz wakes up in the night, he finds a damsel lying at his feet. At first he's alarmed, but later on he realizes that it is Ruth. So he addresses Ruth and says, tomorrow morning I know what to do. So in the morning, before Ruth leaves, he gives her 6 sheaves of barley to carry, because he says, you and your mother-in-law must have something to eat. You cannot go home empty-handed. So during the day, Boaz goes to the gates. That is where the elderly men sit. The senior men in the system, that's where they sit to discuss big issues. And while he's there, he declares and says, he waits to see if there's anyone else who's going to say that they want Ruth. And when he realizes that there's no one else, it's only him who's interested in Ruth, he declares and says that he's now inheriting Ruth, that she's going to be his wife, and the property of the young men who died, Ruth's sons, that property belongs now to him. So Ruth gets married to Boaz, and they get a baby. And now Naomi is now comforted. She had been telling everybody that she's Mara, that she's bitter, that God has dealt bitterly with her, afflicted her. But now she's smiling and saying God has turned her captivity around. She has a grandchild that she's nursing, and now that grandchild ends up being the great grandfather to David, the first king of Israel. So in this story today, we are learning from Ruth, 6 steps to escape poverty, and we are saying step 1, take a risk. Take a risk, take a risk, take a risk. It was a great risk that Ruth took to leave a home that she is familiar with, to leave a culture that she is familiar with, to leave people that she is familiar with, to leave her relatives, and to go to accompany Naomi to a strange land where she would not know how they were going to live. Provision, she would not know how they're going to eat, how they're going to drink. She would not know how their days would look like and how their future would look like. She took a risk. For us to escape poverty, number 1, we must take a risk. Number 2, step 2, take a chance. She took a great chance, Ruth, to leave her family behind, to leave her home behind, and to travel to Israel. And she took another chance when she went to the field to glean after the servants of Boaz. The servants could have mistreated her. Fortunately, Boaz had already warned them and told them, take care of her, treat her nicely, don't touch her. It is just very fortunate. She took a chance. For us to escape poverty, we have to take a chance. Step 3, try something new. Try something new. For Ruth, trying something new was gleaning. She didn't know about gleaning. She had not had to glean before. She had never been poor before. Her husband had provided for her, and now the husband is dead. She's a widow. So she tried something new, gleaning. For us, trying something new could be, maybe there's that side hustle you've been planning to do, but you've been afraid to take a chance. Take a chance, take a risk, try something new. It is time for you to try that new venture. It is time for you to try that side hustle. It is time for you to take a chance and try something new. Step 4 is toiling. Toiling means working very hard. Most of us, we don't like to work hard. We want to be comfortable. But sometimes for us to escape poverty, we may really have to toil, working very hard. How hard do we work? We challenge ourselves and ask ourselves, could it be that we could go another mile? Could we take an extra mile? Could we work harder than we are doing now? So toiling is one step to escape poverty. Traveling. Some of us have lived in the same village since we were born, and now we are 30, 35, heading to 40. Same village. We go to the same river to fetch water every day. We go to the same shop to buy bread and milk every day. We see the same shopkeeper. We see the same faces, the same local faces. Every day, the same shops, the same local faces, the same huts, the same houses. Nothing changes. Traveling. Traveling could be that step that we may have to take to escape poverty. Traveling may mean we relocate to another country, may mean that we go and live elsewhere, another country, another city, another village, another town. It could mean just a temporary vacation, 4 days vacation, 4 days trip to another country, to another city, to another village, to another town. Because if Ruth had not traveled from Moab to Israel, she would never have met Boaz, the wealthy man who married her, and she ended up being a respectable wife and a mother of a child. And now her name is in the Bible. She has her own book in the Bible. If she had not taken that chance to travel, if she had not taken that risk, then she would never have met Boaz. Some of us, we may have to take a chance, take that trip, undertake that trip, go somewhere, make new friends, meet new people, get new ideas. You never know. It could be one way of escaping poverty. Then step 6, train your mind. Train your mind. We have trained, how do we reason? How do we think? Most of us, we reason poverty way. We reason poverty mentality style. Every time we are afraid to do something new, we are afraid to try this or to try the other, or we just enjoy the comfort. We enjoy the comfort. We don't want something new because we are afraid to come out of our comfort zones. It is time for us to train our minds to think differently, to absorb new ideas. When you travel, when you undertake that trip, open your eyes and get to see what do other people do. How do they make their money? How do they invest? Learn from people. Listen to people. Train your mind to think prosperity and not to think poverty. And then triumph. Once you have done all these steps, it is now your chance to triumph. Triumph means you now have the victory. You have done all those things and now you're getting the reward. You're enjoying the fruits. You're enjoying the harvest. and triumph is a beautiful place. For Ruth, a beautiful place to be in. The wife of Boaz, a respectable woman, and then the great grandmother to David, the first king of Israel. And then a book in the Bible that is named after her, Ruth. All because she took steps. First, she took a risk. Then she took a chance. Then she tried something new. Then she toiled. Then she traveled. Then she trained her mind. And then she triumphed. It must have it must have been very difficult for her even to try to understand the culture of the Israelites. Very different culture from the one in Moab. But that is what we mean when we say train your mind. Train your mind not to think the same way it's been thinking over and over the years. Open open a book, read a book, let your mind begin to transform. Let your mind begin to grasp on new ideas. Teach your mind, train your mind, and then triumph. So today we are learning from Ruth 6 steps to escape poverty, and we are saying step number 1, take a risk. Step number 2, take a chance. Step number 3, try something new. Step number 4, toil, working very hard. Step 5, travel. And then step 6, train your mind. And we are saying when we've done all these things, when we've taken a chance, we've taken a risk, we've tried something new, we have toiled, we have traveled, and we have trained our mind, then now we can enjoy triumph. We can enjoy triumph. So if you've liked this my message, go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe, and remember that we are on our way to escaping poverty. And now say with me, bye bye poverty. Say with me, bye bye poverty. Say with me, bye bye poverty, and welcome prosperity. Welcome prosperity. Bye bye.